Hey everybody, probably wondering why I have a bunch of empty bottles sitting here. Well, I shot this video a couple weeks ago, but I don't know, it got corrupted or something, I couldn't edit it. So basically what these bottles are whiskeys that I poured into more of those like little mini barrels that I've been making. And I toasted them at I roasted them. I put them on roast in the oven for 400 degrees for 3 hours. Then I turned the oven off and let them sit. But this time I did not wrap them, like tent them in tin foil. I just left them out. So what I put in one of them is Sagamore Spirit Cask Strength Rye, because Chanel and I are a big fan of this, and we really like their double oaked. So I figured, why not double oak our own? Also, we also really like Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. I put a whole barrel or a whole bottle of that in there. 2 Wild Turkey products. I do love Wild Turkey bourbon, so I've got Rare Breed and Russell's Reserve single barrel. These are, probably notice the labels are a little different. They're the older bottles I just had, so I used them. Knob Creek 9-year single barrel, also put that in there. I'm kind of curious. I'm curious if this is going to compete like flavor-wise with like a Booker's, that we've got. Also, I just want to see like if I can get one of these close to tasting like a Russell's 13, which I don't have a bottle, but I did buy a pour at a bar, and it was really good. Now this Stag Junior, this is just an empty bottle I had. I put in one of our blends that beat Stag in here. So I emptied that into one of those barrels. Eagle Rare is something that I sip on regularly just because of the price and, for us, the availability. It's not difficult for me to get, and I just really enjoy the flavor, the cherry, vanilla, oak, char, spice. And, it's a little lower proof, so you can sip on it and, not worry about getting too buzzed or anything, if you just want a good flavor of some good bourbon. And then what I did is I did want to do a wheated bourbon in one of those barrels. I didn't want to go out and buy another bottle because I don't drink a lot of wheated bourbons, but I have Maker's Mark Cask Strength and the Maker's Mark 46 Cask Strength. So I did a 50-50 blend of these in one of those bottles, or I'm sorry, one of those like mini barrels. I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe after 4 weeks I'll probably sample them. My thought was to leave these in. I put these in like the end of August up in the attic. My thought was to leave these through the winter into like, I don't know, end of spring, beginning of summer, just to kind of see what the change was. No doubt I'm probably going to be sampling them throughout that time. So I'm not sure. I might sample them at 4 weeks, or I may wait 9 weeks, which is when I emptied the Wild Turkey 101 and the Early Times Bottled and Bond that we had up there, which they turned out incredible. Like the only thing I want to drink is that Wild Turkey 101 that was in the attic in those mini barrels. It's so good. So I don't know. You can let me know what you think. If you kind of you want to see what these are like at 9 weeks or 4 weeks or 9 weeks. But yeah, so stick around. I'm just going to attach it to this video, me emptying out the mini barrels that had the Wild Turkey 101 and the Early Times Bottled and Bond, and what I did to them and what whiskeys I poured back into those as well. So stick around. Oh yeah. Man, that's good. Okay. So one of the bottles that Kyle got us was Jack Daniel's 12-year batch 2. This is a blend that I came up with. Chanel and I have a hard time telling the difference between the two. And this is only 3 bourbons off the shelf. I'll obviously going to do a separate video with 3 different blends that you can do to match that Jack Daniel's 12 year. But I got all those those mini barrels, those 8 up in the attic, all sealed up. It's been 9 weeks since I put these up in the attic. I sampled them today. They are incredible, and I thought about leaving them up there a little longer, but it's August, end of August, almost September. I really want to get some single malt Scotch in these mini barrels after I empty them to sit through winter, and then next summer maybe empty them out, see what they're like. So I'm going to go ahead and put these into the corresponding bottles. I've got the 400 degree toasted lid, 285, 400, 285, and we are going to do a video where we compare basically our just standard Wild Turkey 101 and standard Early Times bottled and bond with no aging, with being in these barrels for 1 month and then 2 months. I also have in the attic some Wild Turkey 101 that I did with those barrel char spirals that you can get like off Amazon, and then with my own chunks of toasted oak that I also charred at 400 and 285. And then I also did a smaller piece of each, the 285 and the 400 degree toast oak. Then I soaked them in some sherry for like 4 days, let them dry out, and then I charred those. I've got those up there too. So we're going to put those at 1 month and 2 months up against what came out of these mini barrels to see what's the difference between using like an oak spiral or those oak, or like your own oak chips that you make. Is there really a difference? Is it worth it to do this? Can we just plop something in there? And I'm going to do a video about aging and why I think these are going to be different than the spirals. Anyways, I'm going to pour these, then I'm going to show you the single malt Scotch that I'm going to put in here, but what I'm going to do with these first. So here we go. Okay, so interesting, and I expected to lose some of the bourbon to evaporation, which makes sense. That's why the attic smells like a rick house now. But you can tell, look at the difference. And there are a couple more, more samples that we poured out of these, and we did sample them, so that's why there's less in these bottles. But also some of the oak lids leaked more than the others initially until they like sealed up, or maybe I didn't have enough barrel wax pushed into this seam around where the oak and the Bain Marie container meet. But once I sealed those up, they kind of didn't leak as much. Some of them leak more, like you can tell. Look at these Early Times, a little bit more leaked out, but you can see, right? You see what that looks like. So some of them just, while they were sealing, they leaked out. But I mean, look at the color on these things. That is insane. That is so dark. And I'm telling you what, they are incredible. I'm just going to say for the Wild Turkey 101 and the Early Times Bottled and Bond, this experiment was well worth it. I have a personal favorite between the 285 and the 400. Chanel kind of flops on which one she likes, but I'm going to get these capped up, and then I'm going to get out these single malt scotches that I'm going to put in here. But I'm going to do something to these first, so hold on. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so this is the Wild Turkey. This held the Wild Turkey 101 toasted at 400 degrees. I'm going to put some Laphroaig 10-year cask strength. This is batch 14. It was bottled June 21. It hasn't been open that long. I opened it maybe 8 months ago. I liked it, so I bought an extra bottle. What I did, though, is I did pour a couple of each of these 2-ounce sample bottles because I want to have a control that I can do. We can compare these two, kind of tell you the difference once these are done aging, but also I just want the natural whiskey because we want to do a throwdown, like best heavily peated Scotch. So that's why there's not going to be a completely full bottle going into these, but that's what this one that held the Wild Turkey 101 has. This one also had Wild Turkey 101, but at 285 degrees, I'm putting in the Glencairn heavily peated batch 9. This is also cask strength. Very, very light in color. I really enjoy the Glencairn. I love that oily grunginess to it. Then probably my favorite Ardbeg, the Uigeadail. Man, so good. This is going into the barrel that held the early times bottled and bond that was toasted to 400 degrees. And then the last one that held early times bottled and bond toasted to 285 degrees. I'm putting in the Port Charlotte 10-year heavily peated. Again, I've got my sample bottles poured, a couple of each. And these are some of my favorites. I pretty much like any heavily peated Scotch from Islay. I prefer Islay heavily peated Scotches compared to like a Highland that's peated. That's another video, another story. Let me know if you'd like to hear about that. But what I'm going to do with these, since I love a wine cask finished single malt, especially a smoky one, this Laphroaig 10-year sherry cask finish is incredible. So what I'm going to do, I'm putting in a tablespoon. I also love a good port finish and a Pinot Noir finish. So I got this Porto Morgado, bottled in Portugal. It's a tawny port. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of this in each one. I have a cheap, just mixing sherry wine that I'm going to put a tablespoon in each. And this is a Pinot Noir from 2015. It's just someone that Chanel works with. Their family has like a little vineyard, and they gave us a bottle. So I do enjoy a Pinot Noir when I actually do drink a wine. So I'm going to put a tablespoon of each 3 of these in these. Let them soak for, I don't know, maybe a week. Pour it out. It's probably going to taste delicious. Then I'm going to fill these with these whiskeys, these single malts. So I'm going to fast forward through this all. That's so incredible. Okay, here we go. Okay, so got those poured, tablespoon of each of those 3 wines in here. I'm going to soak these for maybe a week. I don't know. We'll see. I might do it 3 days. Just depends what I feel like. But probably a week. I really want these to get infused with those 3 different wines. And then, yeah. Come on now. There we go. That's okay. Yeah. Then I'm going to drain them, fill these. My plan with these and those other 8 mini barrels I did is to let them sit. We're at the end of August, so I feel like we're going to get some more heat. Pull that whiskey into these oak lids. Wintertime, it's all going to get pushed out. Our weather here changes. It's crazy every 2 weeks. Like last week was cold and rainy. The week before was like really warm and muggy. So we do get a lot of fluctuation. But I'm probably going to test these, I don't know, maybe I might just do it every 2 months, actually, you know, and pour some samples, and then next summer, maybe June, July, August, empty them, and we will do the comparison, let you guys know, you know, how it went. So, all right, thank you for watching. I know this was like a lot of stuff, but it's exciting, it's fun. You know, there's a lot of, I don't know, I think if you're creative, you want to take a little bit of time to do some stuff yourself, you can come up with some really incredible bourbons, single malts, doing stuff like this that I know some people might feel like, yeah, it's a lot of work making these. I don't know, if you got like some, I don't know if I want to say mechanical ability, but you know, construction experience, or just I don't know, it's not that difficult, really. I think about what people do to hunt allocated bourbons, you know. This is way easier. I just do this in the afternoon at home, you know, sipping on whiskey. It's fun. You do have to be patient. You got to let it sit. But judging from the results from our Wild Turkey 101 and our Early Times Bottled and Bond, in only 9 weeks, these bourbons have become, I don't know, 3 to 4 times as good as the standard Wild Turkey 101 and Early Times Bottled and Bond. It is ridiculous how good they are. So, all right, let us know. Would you like to see more of that? Well, I don't know. Just comment if you want to comment, whatever. I'm having fun, and I'm going to keep doing it. So, all right, until next time. Okay, so it has been 1 week where I let these little mini barrels sit with the tablespoon each of a tawny port, a sherry, and then a Pinot Noir. So I'm just going to empty them out, and then we're going to fill them up and let them age. So let's do it. Man, this is this is smelling pretty good. I don't typically drink wine, but I might just age some wine in some of these after I've had some bourbon, or you know, sit in them for a while, because man, this smells amazing. All right. Wow, that. Gotta try this. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, man, that's interesting. It's sweet but oaky. You can taste a little bit of the bourbon on it. Obviously, it's sweet, you know, had port and sherry mixed in there, but that's actually pretty tasty. All right, here we go. I'm going to fill these up. Okay, there we go. Laphroaig 10-year cask strength went into the barrel that had Wild Turkey 101, toasted to 400 degrees. It was in there for 9 weeks. This one, Wild Turkey 101, toasted to 285. It's got the Glencairn cask strength batch number 9. This was the Early Times Bottled Bond with the lid toasted to 400, Ardbeg Uigeadail. And Port Charlotte is in the other Early Times. It was toasted to 285. So, and obviously I soaked them for a week with these wines, so I'm going to see how they turn out. These are going up in the attic. I'm not sure how often I'll try them. I do kind of want them to sit up there for the rest of, it's like now the very first week of September. I'm hoping we're supposed to be getting some more warm weather, so it'll start pulling these, you know, into the oak. And then obviously wintertime is going to just expunge them, the whiskey out of the oak. So we'll see. I'm going to leave them up for a little while. Okay, well, yeah, when I know what's going on, when I finally pull these down, I'll shoot another video. So, and I am going to actually refill these casks, these little mini barrels again once I empty these. I'm thinking of some like inexpensive Scotch. Someone had mentioned like Johnny Walker Black. I might do that. I might put Johnny Walker Black in one, maybe some Bushmills Black in another. I think I've got some Naked Malt. Used to be Naked Grouse. You know, it's that kind of inexpensive sherry finished or matured blended malt. And I'm not sure the other one. I think I've got a few I might put in there. So I just kind of want to see like how much use can I get out of these as well. It's part of the experiment. Look for our Wild Turkey and Early Times Bottled and Bond Throwdowns that we are going to do. Until next time.